So, as I said, I was going to merge the two ships on, and this is so far what I've cobbled together of the vessel. It now has a new name. It is now the ACC-4, which stands for Assault Cargo Carrier -4 for 4 large cargos. Now, what we're gonna do is, I'm not finished building this, but there is a ship in distress, so we're gonna go pick it up and also ditch whatever is not attached to the ship. That's just steel plate, they'll be fine. I literally had just filled the ship up with plenty of iron. I do need to invest in another couple of gyros. Probably need some more forward thrust as well. So thankfully we have this big thing in the front that allows me to pick up ships. Hopefully that's not in the gravity well. But I need to check something because one of the blocks was taken out of the group and the entire control system because it was requested to. So we're going to go in here. So we need number 14 is the call. Yeah, I'm coming. We'll probably pick this medical ship up and then we'll bring it back to base and then have the ion constructor literally rip it to shreds. I did start to armor up the solar panels so they don't get blown off again. So we have 2 Gatlings in the front. Those are actually on the process of moving them back. I'm going to move them back a block. A couple blocks actually, where that open, that unfinished conveyor tube is. That's where they're going to go. That one's not. Gatling. How many of these guns are not set up? Did not mean to do that. I legitimately not mean to do that. So let's fix the ore detector on this ship. Ore detector on this ship becomes a little bit more important because we no longer have the turtle that's back at base, but it's better to keep the turtle at base, especially since it's the asteroid there. I actually was thinking about spawning in just a couple of plain old asteroids, just to make that area a little bit more defensible. Because honestly, like, if where I have this parked, that part of space is just so wide open, and I can literally get nailed by enemy ships. And that's where this pirated mining carriage actually came from, was from that side. And then you'll notice in the last video there, I think it was the last video, there was also a pirate salvage carrier also on the prowl that had moved from where I picked up the mining carriage all the way over to the other side of the asteroid. I don't know how I did that. Oh, looks like a Panos. I'm not a big fan of the Panos, to be honest. There is a Raider drone. Yeah, it's a Panos. Those Raider drones spawn in with the Panos. If you want to know what the Panos is, it's basically like my Chalmers class ship. You'll see that in a upcoming Meet the Fleet in a few weeks. Actually, yeah, no, it'll be a few weeks. So they're probably gonna come after me, but I'm actually okay if I accidentally grab a thruster with this thing, because that mag plate has actually got a repair welder on it. I'm gonna need the camera for this. Oh, we're coming into range. The medical shuttle ended up being a shield for us, but that's fine. Okay, let me go claim PCU on that. Just kind of let the ship coast for a bit. I really want to put a functioning airlock in there. Okay, because this was messed with. It's gonna say unclaimed blocks will despawn, blah 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 blah, because it was messed with. That's generally what happens with these things. Okay. Claim NPC grid. Oh, this is actually a decent haul, and right in this armory, some decent goodies. Some power kits in the freezer. dead engineer, nothing in them. There's a thruster that got blown up. Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember where like all the goodies are. So not too much in this one. The last one that we encountered had a Prototech panel in it. But these are nice little ships. But for my purposes, we don't need this. Sorry, I'm happy to be snacking on some apples. Alright, so let's get this back to base. Nothing should blow it up because the only weapons are on my ship. Nothing else. like this little asteroid base, and it does help having somewhere to go to be honest. you know, the point is live as a middleman in a ship, but sometimes you need somewhere to go to just kind of dock and reconnoiter things, especially when the ship does eventually get damaged. You do need a place for repairs. And this place is set up pretty self-sufficient. It's got a miner in it, it's got a constructor ship, so, you know, this base does work out well for that. And, I haven't actually turned on the refinery yet. I'm waiting to fully pipe up, but I have to rip a lot of blocks out. And I'm just kind of worrying about the ship itself and kind of put the base on the back burner. That is another SPRT mining carriage. We can handle it if it shows, but I'd prefer if it didn't. Okay, so let's take this. We got a mining carriage coming in. I don't want to have a constructor out in the mill and no, because the mining carriage, it's been retooled. A few SPRT ships have been retooled, including the Vulture. I was correct in that assumption that I made in a previous video. They did retool it from a different ship. It basically behaved like the Pirate Raider, but now it's just kind of patrols a route. When one of the other SPRT ships gets a lock, it will come in and may or may not, you know, start attacking you, but alright. I'll kind of bounce into the asteroid. Trying to think if it's possible to move things around here to make this a functioning airlock, other than moving these stairs. That's traditionally what I've done, but sometimes I like to try something different. There's like something floating around in here, I don't know what it is. So, off camera, the constructor's welder head broke not once, but twice. I've made comments about the whole thing with Keen and the welders and grinders, because they have the scavenger ships, but because Keen made it so that the welders and grinders are so fragile, those ships don't really function like they're supposed to. They're kind of supposed to, like, you know, come in and rip your ship apart, but instead, because their move controller is set to a high speed, what ends up happening is they end up just coming rip-roaring mad and slamming your ship and explode. So I need to find where the gyro is on this. So I know it's happening, and there's actually a simple, very quick, rudimentary way to deal with this problem. So we're going to come in, we're going to detect the gyro, we're going to weld back up the gyro, we're going to turn override off, then turn the block off. It's presently moving because it was given a command and because there's no thrusters. it can't break free of what its previous command was, but it'll just kind of crash into the asteroid. As you do.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
It still needs to empty out, so we're gonna bring it to the ACC and empty it out. You thought I was gonna call it the LCC. I can't even call the ship a Rust Freighter anymore because it's a completely brand new thing that nobody's ever seen before. There's a lot of people that do love like the good old Rust Freighter though. Like they just love the way this ship is. Like you see a lot of people that went on the workshop and they've posted their own like versions of this. There's also someone that made a small grid version of this, which and we don't have small grid interior turrets because otherwise you could totally use that just like you would use a normal one because then it'd have turrets. But because it doesn't have turrets, you can't really use it like you should. Okay, large. So I'm going to end the video here, but make sure you guys like and subscribe. Helps me make more videos. Helps me produce other kinds of content, so make sure you subscribe. You know there's 60 people that watched my first video. You know how many of them are subscribed? 6. Think about that math right now. Anyway, I'm Gamer Squiggles. I'll catch you in the next Ship Survival, where you'll get to see more of this ship shape. See you then.